just 5 slides on RPO, SPO, what are the key challenges right now we have observed so far, and how can we make better use of it. So as I said, we'll just skip it. We'll leave the slides for your reference. So RPO and SPO, now the concept is basically has derived from Electricity Act 2003, where under section 86 1E, it was envisaged that state regulator can mandate certain percentage of energy to be consumed from renewable, and that is how the whole RPO concept evolved. And from there, we also came along with renewable energy certificate mechanism, which has been operational since last 2.5 years. Right now, the market is in trouble, primarily because of lack of compliance in RPO. So now let's talk what RPO is. So as I said, it has been derived from Electricity Act under Proviso 86 1E, and RPO basically is applicable on captive consumers, open access customers, and distribution companies. So if you look at holistically, there could be 3 types of customer or consumer of electricity in the country. One, who are individuals like you and me, who are buying power from your distribution company. The other category could be like they want reliable power and potentially a cheaper power. So they would say that we would not buy power from distribution company, but we would have our own generation, so called captive consumer of electricity. And then the third category would be the people or consumer who would say that I don't want to buy power from distribution company, neither I want to buy power from or generate on my own electricity. I would buy from somebody who is supplying me cheap. So all 3 category of customer encompasses every electricity consumer in the country. So essentially, RPO applicability lies on every consumer, including you and me. So equally applicable to all. The targets are like 15% of energy we are targeting to be consumed from renewable. When we talk renewable, it's basically solar and non-solar, where non-solar comprises wind, small hydro, biomass, biogas, sugar-based cogeneration, black liquor, dry solids, and any technology that is defined by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy as a renewable source of energy. And this obligation is applicable on certain category of customer. Unlike RPO, where every consumer is in the ambit of the law, SPO is basically has applicability on certain category of customers. So HT 1 to 4, so primarily all industrial consumer having reliability power supply, all schools and educational institution, commercial customers, LT5 category of customers. So all consumers in the state of Tamil Nadu will have to meet these compliance. So in terms of the demand, if you look at, if these percentages are really going to be enforced, we are looking at somewhere around 1200 to 1400 megawatt of solar energy, either as a green power or in form of this renewable energy certificate, in terms of the demand coming up by the 6% alone. So, and then the percentage is also like quite debatable, because when the rest of India is at 0.5%, one state is taking a leap of faith and says that now you start meeting 6%. So quite a substantial step for a state to take. Enforcement here, again will be monitored by TANGEDCO, which is the distribution company in the state of Tamil Nadu. And to promote rooftop, they have also proposed that the concept of net metering can also be evolved, and TANGEDCO has been given a direction to come up with suitable guideline for connectivity, metering, and overall arrangements related with net metering. And again, compliance here can be done through either you buy green power, that means you tie up with some solar supplier who will not claim REC on that, or you can also buy electricity from TANGEDCO at a solar tariff, which is yet to be devised by TANGEDCO, and you can also buy RECs from national market. Now let's look at the RPO status. I think it's fairly visible. Yeah, so you can look at, different states have different percentages of RPO. There are 2 sets of RPO. One is solar and non-solar. Since the cost of solar is very high compared to other non-solar technologies, there is a exclusivity in terms of solar and non-solar RPO. And then you can see, RPO is not part of SPO, by the way. So then they would again insist that, okay, why don't we go for grid connectivity, right? And again, the issue comes up where, certain states are specifying that only grid connected projects will have an RPO. Certain states are not specifying that. So they are very silent in terms of the regulation. So again, it brings a lot of subjectivity as far as the grid connectivity is concerned. The next issue, which is, like on the metering. So if you are a co-located captive, that means your consumption unit and generation units all are located in the same premise. Then again, the connectivity may vary from state to state. Even though grid codes are more or less uniform, the connectivity practice, the way states follow, sometimes it differs. And again, the question comes where you want to connect your project, whether on the HT side of your incoming feeder transformer or on the LT side. And that again, you have to check up with your distribution company.